After nearly 3 months of no action, we are so glad to get back to riding motorcycles. And the best bit was that our first bike review post-lockdown was the brilliant TVS Apache RTR 200 in its BS6 guise. Now we've done a proper road test review and tried to cover every single aspect about the RTR 200 in it, and you can find that by clicking the I button right here or the link in the description. But there were still a few lingering questions and one that was not about the bike at all. So in this video, let me answer all of your burning questions and let me get this off my chest. I will be answering all your t-shirt related questions in the comments. This video is about the RTR 200. So Glitch Boy, Anas, Sutharkar, Dheeraj, Shirish and countless others have replied back on this. I do like this new face. What do you think about it? Let us know. Yep, it seems that most of you haven't warmed up to this look. Many of you prefer the older and more conventional headlight. But you've got to give TVS some credit, as it has gone for a more striking face. What is more important though is that from the rider's perspective, the LED headlights work brilliantly. Now a lot of you like Akash, Rohan, Vineet, Shri Pavan and lots more have been questioning how is it possible that the Apache delivered 50 kmpl in the city and its city efficiency is better than its highway. Well, let's tackle one bit at a time. First, how it delivered 50 kmpl. The Apache 200 was already a fuel efficient motorcycle in its carb form. With the inclusion of fuel injection and the reduced friction coating inside the cylinder, the 197cc motor runs more smoothly than before. Plus, the engine has got loads of mid-range grunt and the gear ratios allow you to run the bike at moderate speeds in higher gears effortlessly. All of these factors have enabled the RTR 200 to deliver a better city fuel efficiency figure of 50 kmpl. Now to the second part, about how it did better in the city. And the reason is quite obvious, no? There is no sixth gear. Now we've been crying out loud since day one that TVS should have given a sixth cog on the RTR 200. It might not have made a huge difference in the overall performance of the bike, but it would have definitely made an impact out on the highway. Now for a 200cc bike, you would say that our test figure of 42.5 kmpl is not too shabby. But you've got to remember that these are ideal figures that one gets when riding diligently at 80 kmph. Once you do start riding enthusiastically, after all, that is why you picked the RTR 200 in the first place, the fuel efficiency is bound to take a hit. At 100 kmph in fifth gear, the engine does feel stress, and it only worsens as the speeds go higher. Now Malik and Nonish were curious as to why we stated that the engine is air-cooled and not oil-cooled. Let's clear this misconception. Almost all of the motorcycles that are sold in India with an oil cooler are air-cooled motorcycles, not oil-cooled. The engine is cooled thanks to the presence of fins on the cylinder and not via a jacket that you usually find on liquid-cooled engines. Only the engine oil is cooled via the oil cooler, not the engine. Sure, the cooler oil will result in a slightly cooler engine, but not enough to justify calling it an oil-cooled bike. Now you got to remember that Suzuki was the first bike maker in the world to experiment with oil cooling, and currently the Gixxer SF250 and the naked Gixxer 250 are the only pure oil-cooled motorcycles in the world. How it works is pretty simple. The engine oil is first cooled via a radiator. The same oil is then made to make its way around the high pressure points of the engine, like around the combustion chamber. The oil is then redirected back into the sump and the process continues. Also notice, there are no fins. So those were the answers to your most asked questions about the TVS Apache RTR 200 4V. Now by the time you will be watching this video, we will have a couple of more bike reviews up on the channel, like the BS6 TVS Apache RR 310 and the highly anticipated Bajaj Dominar 250. So make sure that you're subscribed to ZigWheels and click that little bell icon to stay notified of new bike reviews.